Interesting facts about the Bible, part 75. Did you know that the Bible gives us clues as to when the end times will be? Most of us know that scriptures tell us what signs to look for. Many believers agree that we are approaching the end times, but there are those that argue every sign that the scripture has said has already happened a long time ago. Many have already thought they were living in the end times generations ago. But there are some key signs that are happening right now. In Matthew 24:7, we read that one of the end time signs is that nations will rise up against nations and kingdoms will rise up against kingdoms. So nations have always gone to war against each other and kingdoms have always fought against one another. But what many miss in translation is that Greek word there for nations is actually ethnos, and it deals with race. Yeshua is telling us that there will be extreme racial tensions in the end times. It isn't just about nations going to war against each other, it's about ethnic groups fighting amongst each other. Literally, ethnic group against ethnic group. Of course, racism has always existed, but this is about the end of the world. So it has to happen worldwide. Never before has the world been so connected. When racial tensions arise in one place, it is broadcasted across the whole world, causing those same tensions to be felt by the same ethnic groups all across the entire world. Now, if you are above the age of 30, you are probably seeing a shift in racism that wasn't there when you were a child, stronger than ever before. And it's not just a problem within our nation, it is a problem across the entire globe. Isaiah gives us a prophecy in Isaiah 5 about a sign of the end time. Many don't even recognize it as a sign of the end times, but if you look at verse 19, the people are calling for Adonai to hurry up with his plan so that they may see and know his plan. And they are talking about his plan coming to fruition, which is the second coming, the end of this age. Then in verse 20 it says, "Oi to those who call evil good and good evil, who present light as darkness and darkness as light, who present sweet as bitter and bitter as sweet. Oi to those who are wise in their own eyes and clever in their own sight." Again, if you have been around long enough, you have seen a moral shift in society. Relationships that were before not celebrated and not condoned are now being celebrated openly. And not only are they being celebrated openly, but anyone who does not agree with those kinds of relationships are attacked viciously. So things that were once thought of as evil and not good are now being called good, and those who do not think that they are good are being called evil. In fact, it's considered to be so good and wholesome that they are putting it into children's cartoons. People are changing their bodies, changing their personalities, changing their dress to be something that they are physically not. And of course, this is celebrated, and if you don't agree, you are called evil. These things have always existed in different ages and in different cultures, but never before has it been accepted worldwide the way it is now. Again, thanks to technology. There is also a verse in Luke 23, starting at verse 26, that many people don't recognize. At this point, when Yeshua is speaking, he has been given his cross and he is walking to where he is going to be crucified. There is a group of women following after him, weeping and singing dirges. He tells them not to weep for him. And in verse 29, he says, "Indeed, the days are coming when they will say, 'Blessed are the barren and the wombs that never gave birth, and the breasts that did not feed.' Then they will begin to say to the mountains, 'Fall on us,' and to the hills, 'Cover us.' For if they do these things when the wood is green, what will happen when it is dry?" Many have speculated at what Yeshua meant about this, because up until recently, there had been nothing like this before. What today is celebrated as a woman's right? What is celebrated as a woman's independence? Her freedom from having children, her ability to remove her own child from her womb for her own benefit. Never ever in the history of mankind has there been such a big movement of women celebrating not having to have children, not having to give birth to their children. Women have always longed for their children. Women have always longed to be able to give birth to a child. It was a part of their status. It was a part of who they were as a person. This is the first time in history where on a global, massive scale, women are celebrating not giving birth to their children. We are seeing that it is not just women celebrating this, but society as a whole is encouraging a woman to believe that her greatest worth is in her choice of whether she has that child or not. They are blessed that they don't have to give birth and care for a child that interferes with their lifestyle. So when Yeshua says, if they do these things when the wood is green, how will it be when the wood is dry? Meaning Yeshua is there then, and he's there with them in spring of life. They have their Messiah with them, and that is when the wood is green. Now we are at the end times when we are removed from that period where Yeshua was, and now we are dry, the end of life of this age. If they were willing to do the things they did to Yeshua when he was here on this earth, how much worse will it be in the end times when the wood is dry and we're towards the end? We will see people doing things much worse than in any other period in history and across the whole world, not just in one culture. These things have shifted in society a great deal, especially since the late 2000s. We are seeing even the smallest overlooked prophecies come to fruition. And if you believe in the 6,000-year prophecy, which I'll be touching on later, we are coming very close to the end of that 6,000-year period. Of course, we can't know the exact day and hour, but Yeshua tells us the signs of the season for when it is going to be soon.